Welcome to Living Martial Arts with Master Ray Gale, aka the Dark Master. Living Martial Arts discuss and examines the everyday exercise, philosophy, and lifestyle of the martial arts enthusiast. The host talks about his own training, past and present, and he also interviews many martial artists to discover how they continue to live their own martial arts journey. Tune in for top tips on how to get the best out of your martial art. Or perhaps you're thinking of starting a martial art. This podcast offers you an easy way to dip your toe in. Sign up for the newsletter at livingmartialarts.com and get regular updates and training tips direct to your inbox. Follow the Dark Master on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Living Martial Arts.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the Living Martial Arts podcast with me, the Dark Master, back again for another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for many, many years, but I admired him because he was always a lovely person, and I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. I'm sure he's got some murkiness in his past. Maybe we'll find out. But I've got the fantastic Mikey Lambert with me today, and perhaps we're going to find out some things that we never knew about him, or I will find out some things. So how you doing, Mikey?
I'm great, thank you, Ray, and thank you so much for having me on the show. But first, before we start, Chilian, honey, Chumby. Okay, full contact, Chon G. Right. Yeah, no, listen, no, thank you so much for getting me on the show, Ray. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, it's great, and we spoke a little bit off audio about the old days, and perhaps we can cover some of that as well. But I have to start. I have to say to start with, we're going to ask you about your martial arts journey. But I have referred to you to a lot of people actually, and some people who wanted to take a similar route to you, and I put you down as a really brave individual who followed their dream. Because not many people have a dream and follow it.
Brave or crazy. There's a fine line.
well, I think you have to do it. Hey, we're only here once, and perhaps we can discuss some of that. But without further ado, perhaps you can tell us about your martial arts journey, how it started, what you did, and what brought you to what you did and what you were.
Yeah, sure. Do you want a really quick short version, or do you want quite? Good version.
Well, I think the thing is that
medium
with all of us. I mean, your journey probably could take about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll try to again. If there's any of the listeners that want an audio book to put them to sleep at night, this might do it. It might be a bit boring. Okay, so basically, what happened? Going way back, my sister was a lot older than me. She used to have pen pals, because obviously back in the day, for the younger listeners, we didn't have no interweb. And, we're still not going in Yorkshire, to be honest. We're still on pigeons, carrier pigeons. But and basically, so my sister, she had pen pals, which back in the day, people used to write other people in countries, and they used to send them things. And she had a pen pal in Japan and in China. So I used to sneak in her bedroom and look through all the letters, and they were really cool, all these Japanese drawings. And she used to send her all these. From being about 7 or 8, I used to start reading manga, which is Japanese comic books, which opened the other way, which is quite funny. So if you didn't know that, you always end up reading the end before the start. So it's already done. So you know who dies right so you start reading the book. So basically, I got into Asian culture from a very early age, funnily enough. And then my sister used to have all these posters on the wall of this Chinese guy with like these scratches across his face and his chest, ripped to hell. And I was like, oh, okay, who's this guy? Bruce Lee. I was like, whoa. So back in the day, Ray, as you know, VHS, rental video shops, I don't know what age I was, maybe 9, 10, 11, used to get all the martial art movies from the local video store. And I got really into, obviously, Bruce Lee. So he was a big inspiration, as for many of us he was.
Yeah.
And then I just started basically just watching as many martial art movies as I could. I did the usual. I think everybody does Shotokan karate for a few months when they're young. I did a few Shotokan karate when I was about, I think, 9 or 10. Then when I was about 12, 13, I started doing Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is Bruce Lee style.
Yeah.
found it was made by this lady, Yin Wing Chun, obviously based in China, Fashan, I think it was. And because that was Bruce Lee's style, I'm like, it's good enough for Bruce Lee. I'm going to do that. So I went, started doing a couple of years Wing Chun, and it was fantastic. It was great, really enjoyed it. Then the instructor, one day, just up and left, went to Spain, excuse me.
All right.
To Spain. Rocked up one day with my dad. He used to take me in the car and sit outside reading the paper while I was doing Wing Chun. And then, like, oh, sorry, club's shut down, instructors up and left to Spain. So I was like, no. And then I remember in one of the martial arts magazines, it might have been Fighters. Can you remember Fighters magazine?
Yeah.
Combat, and there were no martial arts history. I think there were just fighters and combat. I think
fighters and combat. Yeah.
And fighters, and they had, I think, a martial arts guy. It might have been based in Glasgow. T.K. Low, a Korean.
Oh yeah, T.K. Low. Yeah, T.K. Low.
And he was doing this like jump spin up. Get this picture, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's what I want to do. Because although I like Wing Chun, and don't get me wrong, it was great doing all the sticking hands and all the chi sao and the all the forms, and it was fantastic. And to this day, I still remember all the Chinese terminology like bong sao, tan sao, pak sao, fuk sao, and everything, which is quite accidental because now I speak Cantonese, which is weird. I was like, this is what I want to do, Taekwondo, all these flying kicks. So I started training at this local gym near me, Bodytech, with Mr. Bob Angus back in the day.
Oh, Bob Angus, yeah.
And he was technically fantastic, great guy. He got me to my first Dan, to be honest, and started training with him, and he was great. I couldn't get enough of it, Ray. I was like, I got the bug as you know, that martial arts bug. You just want to do it. Live, breathe, eat it. We had, luckily enough, we had a JVC Ferguson Video Star camcorder with no viewfinder. No, it had a viewfinder, but no pull-out screen. So I'd go outside, and I'd put it on some rocks, and I'd have compilation tapes of all the martial art movies I could find, and I dubbed them from one VCR to another. I think I somehow figured I could plug the Ferguson Video Star tape camcorder into it.
Yeah.
Pirate them off, right? So I used to have basically, can you remember back in the day, you'd get these videotapes and you could have like 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Literally just have all the clips, all the fight scenes.
Still got some.
Yeah. And I'd have everything. I'd have like, a fight scene from like Jackie Chan Armor of God. Then I'd have like Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris in Way of the Dragon. Then I'd have Bruce Lee taking out all the Japanese guys in Fist of Fury. Then I'd have Jackie versus Yun Bio. Or I'd have all these clips from all these films. And then what I do, so this, crazily, now it's almost like, athletes do video reference and video, obviously, they video themselves for performance.
Yeah.
Put my video camera on some rocks, I'd film myself doing like a psychic. Then I'd come by and frame by frame compare it to the guys on the screen. No, my hip's not right. And I'd go out there and I'd hang like tennis balls off the washing line, kicking them. And I just obviously did the old, got 2 bits of garden cane.
Yeah.
Made my own nunchucks, you know what I mean? Loads of bumps. Yeah. So basically, back then I was doing video performance, analysing myself, technique, which I thought was, for like, 13, 14-year-old, I thought was pretty cool. Because back then,
it's quite advanced.
Looking back, I was like, oh, actually, I was ahead of the game. So yeah, but Bob Angus was a very, very fantastic traditional instructor. It was I think if you started training like that now, Ray, the first, I think it used to be 15 minutes star jumping, then literally 15 minutes just in sitting stance.
Yeah.
Punching.
Yeah,
that was it. 15 minutes in sitting stance, which nowadays they'd be like, I want to learn a jump spin hook it first lesson, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His inspiration was Master Heel Chow.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which then, as soon as I saw Heel Chow, I think I went to a seminar, early days, went to one of these seminars when I was like a green belt or something. Sorry, I'm rambling on. Is this okay?
No. Hey, this is brilliant because there's so many parallels with what you say with a lot of people. Heel Cho was really inspired me because remember when I went to Los Angeles, I was like, wow.
LA Open, wasn't
it? Yeah. And
when it was amazing, right, Ray? Because back then, if you can remember, the Korean masters used to come out white suits, clean shaven.
Yeah.
Same haircuts, come out, Taekwondo, boom, boom, boom. Heel Cho walked out. He had red bottoms on.
Yeah.
Right? Blue top tucked in, which he never did.
Yeah.
Sleeve rolled up, which he never did.
Yeah.
He had a goatee, hair in a ponytail, which I was like, this is a Korean master. And he's like, And then he went, okay, first taekwondo hands, bullshit, no good. Boxing. And the first combo he showed me was jab, cross, hook, spinning back kick.
Yeah.
God. And straight away I was like, this is an idol to me. So my idols were back in the day, Bruce Lee, Wang Jiangli, which is a famous, the Silver Fox, which is a very, you must know Wang Jiangli is. If you ever watch like Drunken Master and stuff like that, he's always the guy with the long beard. He's got really good kicks. So Bruce Lee, Wang Jiangli, and Master Heel Cho, inspirations. And then I got obviously his books, Complete Martial Artist, Man of Contrast, read them from cover to cover. Yes.
It's funny you should say that because these are all my favorite books.
That's it.
And I've got them all, the full set.
Brilliant. Yeah, amazing. And I was like, I read them cover to cover. And I don't know if you remember Master Cho when he brought out that like self-defense video as well.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
He's walking down like an alleyway or something. Someone tries to jump in. He's like, whoa, back kicks him, stamps on like side kicks, breaks in me. Like, I was like,
I've still got it here somewhere. I've still got it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So he was a big inspiration to me. So Bob Angus's style were based on Heel Cho. We used to, he'd do the old, he's like when he used to key out, he'd do the same shout, he'd do the same back kick. It was just like a mini Heel Cho. So for technique, Bob Angus had some great technical students. But then what happened, I think one day I was competing and my mum used to take me, because obviously I was like 14, 15 at the time. My mum used to take me. She was great. She'd take me. You remember my mum, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Remember.
Take me all over and she was fantastic. I mean, just great. Just a great supportive mum.
Yeah.
And one day I'm competing. I didn't do great in the junior division, everything. I used to, back in the day, you remember, Ray, there was, I don't know if there's any weight divisions or anything, but if you're over a certain age, you get everybody. And I'd always get some kid that was like, I was like one of them really skinny, underdeveloped kids, and you get one guy, he's already looked like he was 33 with a beard. And then he like beat me up. And I was like, oh. And this big black dude come to my mum and said, excuse me, is that your son? And she went, oh, yeah, he is, yeah. Oh, I'll have a chat with him afterwards. I don't know do you know this story, Ray? Do you know this story?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
So says, okay, I'll have a chat with him afterwards. So after I finish fighting, come over. It was Tony Sewell.
Yeah.
Right? And he's chatting to mum, and he says, oh, would you like to come and train at my club in Derby on a Sunday? I was like, oh my God, like my mum didn't know who he was from Adam. And I was like, probably like you, Ray, I knew everything about the martial arts competition world. I knew everything. American, like I got all the American magazines, all the Inside Kung Fu, Taekwondo Times, all that. I studied them from cover to back. I knew everything. Every martial artist, whether it's PK, full contact kickboxing, Taekwondo, I knew everybody, right? Yeah. I knew everybody. So of course I knew the T.A.G.B stars, the main people. I was like, so, oh my God, I'm really awestruck. I'd love to, Mr. So I'd love to. Yeah, great. And it was like it was like a rude awakening. So I walked in, I think it was in some kind of Afro-Caribbean center in like Derby.
Yeah.
And I like walked in and I'm like, apart from one like mixed race guy, I'm like the only white guy. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get, it was almost like, is it Rocky 2 or Rocky 3 when he gets the Eye Tiger back and he takes him back to the gym in Detroit or something?
All right, yeah.
There's all the brothers, all the black guys there, and he walks and they all like stop. It's like the record scratching. It was like that. And I was like, oh my God, Ray, I just beat up, like completely from pillar to post.
Yeah.
We used to go out, we used to run for a couple of miles barefoot, come back, pad work, then spar, and he'd have the square, Tony would have the square smaller than normal.
Yeah.
Right, everybody, this is it. Person stays in the middle, fights everybody. Just legs only.
Yeah.
And I used to get battered, Ray, but no, I went back every week. Yeah. And eventually I was like, oh, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better. And it was great. And that was an amazing experience doing that.
It was learn though, wasn't it? Because I mean, myself and Mark, we did that with our students. We just used to, on the way to training, we say, right, okay, we're going to line them up and just spar for the whole set. Yeah, that's right. As soon as you get in there, attention bow, right, get your equipment on. Yeah, right, we're sparring.
I mean, to be honest, it's like I think Bruce Lee once said it. Best exercise for running, to get better at running, is running. What's the best way to get better at fighting? Fighting. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. I did see. I saw Tony recently, actually. It's when yeah, he's good. Still kicking. Still.
You know what? We've got to try it all. Hook up one day. Just get some kind of
yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
So, even for politics aside, just get us all, go out for a nice meal. We've got to do it. We're all getting older now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's. I think I mean, it's always when you say things were better in my day, but they were special days because it was the early days of martial arts, and you had to be a certain individual to be able to even live in those competitions.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were rough. They were rough. But going on from that, what happened then? I don't know how it happened, but I started competing in some local tournaments in Yorkshire, and because my grading instructor was like Kenny Walton and Kim Stones, I think through them we got chatting. I don't know how it was through my mum or something, but then Kenny said to me, "Do you want to come start training in the mornings with me and Kim?" So I was like, "Oh, that'd be fantastic, Mr. Walton. That'd be great." So then every morning, formally, we used to do. There'd be usually me, Kim Stones, Kenny Walton. Sometimes Shab would turn up at Graham Church, but usually it was just me, Kenny, and Kim.
Yeah.
We'd go for like a 3-mile run, come back. We'd do like a circuit. You know the older squad training circuit, the press up.
Yeah.
Right knee, left knee, Roberto Duran, press up, right knee, left knee, jump, burpee, knee tuck, V6.
Yeah.
About 20 back down, pad work, and then spar.
Yeah.
So every morning, Monday to Friday, I was training and sparring with Kenny Walton, Kim Stones. So as anybody knows back in the day, what I mean, how better can that be?
Yeah. It was brilliant.
2 world-class martial artists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what I used to do then, Ray, I'd go back and then do an hour weights in the afternoon. And then I was training with Kenny more. Then Bob was fine because Bob Angus, he was great. He was like, because sometimes some instructors, you left me this and that. He was like it. Regarding competition, technically, I can teach you whatever you want to know. But regarding competing now, I can't.
Yeah.
Get further in your thing, and Kenny and Kim's the people to do it. So he knew I was, wanted to compete. So I sort of went training with Kenny and Kim more then. And then, so I used to train 9:30 to 11 in the morning with them, sparring, pad work, running, everything. And then now weights in the afternoon. Then I used to teach usually 4:30 to 6:30, help Kenny teach. Then I'd train like 6:30 till 9. So I was doing like, I said to people now, sometimes I was training 3 to 5 hours a day, and they don't believe it. They're like, "No, you might." I said, "No, but," and it was hard training. Like, Ray, it was hard training.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Saturdays, sometimes squad training on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Teaching on Sunday with Kenny, and we'd do a class at Thorn for 2 hours, then drive to Scunthorpe. I trained 2 hours. So I'd do 4 hours on a Sunday as well. It's competing.
Yeah.
People were like, "Yeah, but you probably didn't." I'm like, "No, these were full-on sessions where you can't walk afterwards." But that's what gets you where you are. You know what I mean? That's what
you did, wasn't it? That's what was expected, and you had to pay the price. And I think you were. I always remember going up to squad training, and I also say to my people, if you're going to come to squad training, make sure you're fit before you get there.
Yeah,
because you're going to last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or 15 minutes if you're lucky. But for me, it was a challenge. Just trying to, I always wanted to do as many push-ups as anyone else there.
Yeah. Remember when you used to do the older, because sometimes we do it at Inkley, but sometimes we do it upstairs was it like the
the studio, that little studio thing?
Yeah, like a studio. I remember they're like a green net. It was like a cricket place or something, or tennis. They had green net there. Because downstairs in the big sports hall was great, but upstairs, because it was like a sauna up there.
Yeah.
And remember when you used to call somebody in the centre?
Yes.
In the centre, do it, because we used to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, then back down again.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then sprints in between.
Yeah.
And we did the training. Sometimes we did that training where we're like being 5 or 6 of them, one at the back had to sprint to the front and do all that. And then pad work and then sparring. And it was like people don't realize it was oh my God, but that was the hardest training I've ever done, but the fittest I ever was.
It was full on. I remember Dave Oliver always used to bring me in for burpees. I was really good at burpees because I was quite small and I was quick.
Yeah.
So he was going, "Come on, everybody, keep up with Gailey. Come on."
Yeah. Yeah, burpees for me, I don't know what it was. I found burpees I wouldn't say easy, no way, but I didn't find them harder than some other people. Like some other people found burpees really hard. I don't know if it's my shape or built, but I really enjoyed burpees and jump and tuck your knees to your chest and everything. Yeah, no, that was one of my best exercises. But yeah, that training's invaluable. I mean, and again, me being allowed to train with, Kenny and Kim, and it was probably then I wasn't doing good competing wise until I think I just turned 17 and they had the Super Sport Nationals. And, I went to the middleweight division, black belt, and I managed to win it. Dave Oliver was giving the trophies out, and I don't know if I told you the story, but I hated Dave Oliver back then. Now he's a amazing role model to me, but back then I hated him like with a passion. I mean, he knows this. I've told him this, and I've told other people this, but because we went to Holland on a trip when I was on the junior squad, and I did terrible. I was like 14 or something like that, and I was on the junior squad in Holland, and I forgot his name, but he's this Dutch fight. He's like, I don't know if he's like Moroccan Dutch or Arabic, but
all right, yeah.
He was like a WTF champion, like his name's like Chipilatu or something like that. But anyway,
not Wainan Tapalatu.
It might have been him.
Yeah, because I fought him at the Spa Centre actually.
Yeah, but we were like in the junior division or something. But I think he was 2 years older. But anyway, I didn't do good. He beat me up basically. I was 14 and I'd not got enough ring experience, and I was 14 or 15. I didn't do good anyway, and I don't know if I should tell this story because I don't know if it might paint. I mean, you could always edit this bit out, can't you?
Yeah, go on. You tell it anyway. We'll see.
Okay. I'll tell it. I'll tell it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Dave Oliver was known as the Star Maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that? So he's named the Star Maker. But I did hate him because he was really nasty to me. And after this tournament, I was devastated, Ray. You know, after you've lost a tournament, you just feel like it's the end of the world. And it's not really. Now, looking back, it's not really. But back then, I was like, it's the end of the world. I'm like, I'm devastated. That's it. I've let the team down. I've let all of England down. Right, you know. I'm in the lobby next day like this. And he's like, right, everybody get on the bus or something, going to the airport. And he's like, what's up, Mike? Mike Lambert, what's up? Come here. And I went, I'm sorry, Mr. Oliver. I just feel like I've let everybody down. He goes, listen, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He put his arm around me. Yeah. And yeah, you might have to bleep some of this out in a minute. I swear I'm not.
Oh no, probably don't because I just in case I want to keep it in. But go on.
Okay, I'll count you.
I can imagine.
Okay, do you want me to swear or not?
No, don't. But those, all I can say that those that knew Dave Oliver will know what sort of language we're talking about.
Right, but can I say effing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it was more stronger than this, but he put his arm around me and he went,
know what you're going to say, by the way, yeah? Go on.
Okay. And he goes, don't worry about it, Mikey. He goes, listen, have you enjoyed coming away with the T.A.G.B squad? Like, yes, thank you, Mr. Oliver. Thank you. And he went, and everything's been paid for. You know, your flight's been paid for, your hotel. Because back then, remember, not a lot of martial arts associations did that or still do that. You know, they've got to pay their own way, a lot of people, yeah?
Yeah,
and he said, and we've paid flight here. I said, yes, Mr. Oliver, yes. And this tracksuit you're wearing, all paid for by T.A.G.B. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Yeah. So you've really enjoyed this experience, coming away, fighting for your country with the T.A.G.B. Yes, Mr. Oliver. I felt a lot better. It's like a weights lift. Oh, he's actually forgiven me. And he goes, and he spun me around. And he went, good. Please never ever happen again because you fought like an effing idiot. And he punched me in the chest. Right? I fell backwards over the bag, winded myself, and burst into tears. He went, right, pick up your bag, get on that effing bus. And Ray, I was devastated. I was like, anyway, I got back on the bus. And I was sat there going, right, now 2 things could have happened here because I've seen this happen to people. You probably have too. I've seen talented fighters be treated like that, and it's done them in. They've gone, they've left, or they've whatever.
I got a good story for you after this, but go on.
All right, cool. And there's 2 things that could happen. I either go, right, I'm quitting this game now, or I'm going to show him. And I went back, Ray, and I trained harder than I ever did. Hard, like when it was outside snowing, I'd be outside training in the garden barefoot, kicking things on the thing. I just train. I'd go to squad training, be like, why are you here, Lambert? Why are you here? And Kenny Walton was on the front cover of Combat. See, your instructor, Kenny Walton, is on the front cover of Combat. Don't hold your breath. That's never going to happen to you. Anyway, every week, he just put me down. Every week, he turned to squad training, put me down. And this went on, obviously, for months and months and months. And then the Super Sport Nationals, when I won the middleweight black belts, men's first my first tournament as an adult, he was giving the trophies out. And Ray, I was like, I feel like getting this trophy and just sticking it in his face. Honestly, I was hitting him with it. And I walked up to him and he went, first place, gold medal, Matt Lambert. And he shook my hand and he put his hand on my shoulder. He went, well done, Mike. He goes, I knew you could do it. Welcome to the T.A.G.B. I was like, and the penny dropped, Ray. I was like, oh my God, I got it. Yeah, all them times. Because loads of people can do this and kick and do this, but it's here as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to be mentally strong as well as physically. It's no good having one or the other. People could be really mentally strong, but not physically fit. No use. And physically amazing, technically great, not mentally strong.
Well, it's interesting because I think he did those tests because he did exactly the same to me.
Yeah,
we went to Holland, and we were fighting the Dutch team, and I was in the squad as a lightweight. And when we got there, for some reason the lightweight had pulled out.
Yeah,
so I had to fight. He said, "Right, Gailey, you're fighting middleweight." I went middleweight.
Dave in the room. Have you?
He goes
with his voice recording.
I said, Dave. I said, "What do you mean middleweight?" He said, "Shut up and get your stuff on." So anyway, I went out there, and he's a really good middleweight fighter. And I tell you what, we were fighting rounds. I think it was only 2 rounds. I think. Anyway, at the end of the first round, this guy had smacked me, and he smacked me on the nose, and my eyes kept dripping. So he said, "Guys, Gailey's crying." He brought all the guys in. I'm on the chair and I'm really tired because this guy's giving me a whooping. And he's going, "He's crying, look." Anyway, I get out there again and I lose. We go into the changing room and he goes, "Brilliant. We won it. The team won. Everybody won apart from me." He said, "Brilliant team. Well done. Give yourselves a hand. All except you, Gailey. You. Beep, 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 beep." Whatever. And I'm there. I've got my head down. My eyes are dripping. And
but the are tears now. But
everybody's laughing at me. Anyway, I get up and I just sort of carry on. And I can't remember what the next international was, but I tell you what, I remember fighting out my skin, absolutely fighting out my skin, and just looking at everybody walking off. I won the fight. I can't remember what it was, and just thinking, yeah.
I mean, think about now. Obviously, now with social media and stuff like that, Ray, I don't know if you could get away with that now. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you look at back in the day how, some coaches in China and Russia used to train there, like, everything like that, the stretching methods and the way they were to, I'm not going into like the, darker things like, sexual. I'm staying away from that. I don't mean stuff like that, but I mean, just being like, people and pushing to the limits and then pushing them even more. And then when they fail, just going, "You idiot, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you can you get away with it nowadays? But
I don't think.
Did it work for me personally? Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think whenever I've done something in my life, somebody had always told me that I couldn't do it. Because somebody originally said, "Oh, you'll never be English champion," and I went and did it. And then said, "Oh, you'll never be British champion," and I went and did it. Because in my mind, I thought, well, I'll show you then. That's the type of person that I was. If somebody says the best thing the worst or the best thing, whichever you want to look at it, is somebody could say, "I don't think you can do that." even
also for me, Ray, then going back, whatever traits I had, because when I was a kid at school, I wasn't athletic at all. In fact, like my dad and my brother were professional footballers.
Right.
So everybody thought that, it's Lambert, he's going to be amazing with football. Regarding football, regarding any ball sports, my dad and my brother, you give them a ball, like whether it's tennis, pool, snooker, football, cricket, golf, they can play it. I've got the worst hand-eye ball coordination ever. I'm terrible. So I'd go to school and they'd be like, "Oh, it's Lambert, his dad's professional, brother professional." I'd be like, I was terrible. And I played it at school. But once I started doing like Tae Kwon Do, I was like, this is for me. It just felt like it was perfect for my body, my shape. I don't know. Everything sort of like slotted in. But obviously going back to the Mike Lambert when I was like 11, 12, what I've done now and where I've come, nobody would have believed. Nobody would have put. You know, if you had to put £1 million on what I'd be doing now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what I've achieved in regards of, because I think that's an arrogant thing to say. Oh, hey, look at me, what I've achieved. No, but what I've done in life, you know, my progression, you know. So,
well, can I, what I'd like to do is I'd like to sort of move on from that, because
sure.
You know, I mentioned the fact that, you know, I think you're quite brave. You know, I became a martial arts instructor. I was an aircraft engineer when I left school, and I realized a very short time that I didn't want to do that forever. And people thought I was mad to leave because I was earning a lot of money.
Is that around your neck of the woods? Is that like a
I was working
job though?
Yeah, I was working for Rolls-Royce. I'd done a 4 years training, you know, and I come out my apprenticeship, and I was working on Concorde. Actually, it was Concorde engine.
Where's that? Bristol.
Yeah, in Bristol.
Bristol.
And went on to the sort of Harrier jump jet and a few of the military aircraft. And I was on a lot of money. You know, by the time I was 19, I had a house and a car and a motorbike and whatever. And then I basically left it and just thought, you know, I need to follow my dreams.
Right.
And I noticed that in yourself, really. I remember when somebody said to me that what you were going to do, and I thought, wow, fair play to you. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about, you know, your dream. You followed it. Obviously, you were into things like martial arts films, and that sort of lit a fire in you. So
yeah,
you
know. To be honest, it was, again, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I'm like, I think I've got the old ADHD.
Go for it.
Originally, I think, you know what? I think it was going to be, I sort of like tinkered with the idea. I remember sitting down with Tony Sewell one day. Tony, I think I'm going to try to get work in movies. He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, I think I am. I said, hey, it'd be good, wouldn't it? Like, imagine me and you like playing like, you know, like Lethal Weapon, like good cop, bad cop, white cop, black cop and everything. It's like, oh, anyway, even Tony was like going, oh, yeah, even I got him interested a bit in it. But originally, if I remember rightly, I could be wrong here, so apologies to those people I'm going to mention if I did get wrong. Originally, me, Shabir Akhtar, and Roger Lawrence were going to go to Hong Kong together, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got that, if that might have been some kind of weird dream, but I'm sure I mentioned to them and they were like, let's do it together.
Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reasons. But anyway, cut long story short, Bay Logan at the time, who was editor of Combat Magazine.
Yeah.
I remember Bay Logan.
Yeah.
I think allegedly there's been a few things happen with Bay and everything now. So
sure.
I'll tell you that after we've finished into it. But anyway, so Bay Logan was the editor of Combat Magazine.
Yes, yeah.
One day he said to me, he says, "Oh, why don't you think about getting into movies?" And to be honest, Ray, I've kind of always wanted to be a stuntman since I grew up watching like A-Team, The Fall Guy. I don't know if you remember the Fall Guy TV show, yeah? Colt Stevens, stuntman. Yeah. Hooper, Burt Reynolds movie where he plays a stuntman called Hooper.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my local library and getting a book out on stunt performers, stuntmen. Well, I say stunt performers because it's a bit sexist just saying stuntmen. So stunt performers, that's everybody, you know, male, female. Yeah. So basically, I was like, yeah, this would be great. So we did a careers day at school once. And I was about, I don't know, 12, 13. And the careers advisor, whatever, were like, okay, what do you want to be, Billy? And like, yeah, I'd like to be, we'll go in the army, miss. What do you want to be, Jenny? Yeah, I want to be a nurse, miss. What do you want to be, Mike? I'd like to be a stuntman. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Think about something real, you know. So they basically shot my dreams down. I was like, what? I don't know how to become a stuntman, a stunt performer. And Bay Logan, he did a couple of interviews with me one time. And he invited me to his house. I think he was living in Birmingham at the time. I went to Birmingham and I chat with him. And he showed me a video of Mark Houghton, who you interviewed recently.
Yeah.
Mark Houghton is doing martial art movies and stunts in Hong Kong. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. If you want to get involved, obviously, in action movies, there's 3 things you can do now. There's 3 roads you can go down. America, which obviously is hard because of the green card.
Yeah.
India, which is a massive, movie industry. It's probably, I think it's actually bigger than Hollywood, to be honest. You know, they're Bollywood and Tollywood.
Yeah, Bollywood, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. But obviously the culture clash and everything and visas.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, which is at that time was a British colony.
Yeah.
So I remember I got a book like something like, Lonely Planet Guide to Hong Kong, looking through it. I was like, this is cool. So rewinding back to my original interest in Asian culture, through my sister with the Japanese Hong Kong pen pals and looking through all the thing, which I'd already got that sort of like Asian bug. Like, oh, I'm really fascinated with Asian culture anyway. Plus all the martial art movies that I watch all the time. And I was like, dude, yeah, this is cool. Great. So yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. So I remember I was working as a gym instructor at the time, as well as teaching martial arts for Kenny Walton. I was working at a Moat House gym in Doncaster, and I had a bit of an argument with my boss. He was kind of bullying me, like telling me to clean toilets with a toothbrush and stuff like that. And then after I cleaned them, he was going in and going, "They're not clean, do them again." I was like, "I've had enough of this." So one day I just went, "Now I'll tell you what." I just got an A4 bit of paper. I got a marker. I just started writing. Because, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'll show you what I'm doing." And I wrote on, "I quit," held it up to his face, rolled it up, threw it in his face, took my shirt off, threw it on the counter, just walked out topless. Like I was like, got in my car like a boss and just drove off. I was like, "I'm done. That's it." He's bullying me for all these weeks. Week later, my granddad had left me a ring when he died, a diamond ring. Sold it for a few £1,000s, bought a plane ticket to Hong Kong, flew out to Hong Kong, and basically started working in the Hong Kong movie industry.
Wow.
There was obviously a little bit more to it than that, but that's
I get it. But
that's basically the basic gist of it. Yeah. I met Mark Houghton literally within a few days.
Yeah.
Bay Logan introduced me to Mark Houghton. So Mark rocked up. I remember Mark rocked up. We met him in the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
Where I think it might have been in Yama Day, which is a place in Hong Kong. And he had his Charlene, his little baby daughter.
Yeah.
One at the time or two. And he's like, "So, why do you want to meet me?" And I'm like, "I really want to do movies in Hong Kong." "Why do you want to do movies in Hong Kong?" "Why?" And I was like, and then his daughter just went, and threw up everywhere, like all over his legs, all over the floor and everything. I'm like, "Oh." So I run to toilet. So I've got this tissue out to cleaning him up and everything. He was, "Tell you what, I'll meet you tonight for dinner." I said, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Houghton. Thank you very much. I appreciate that." He went, "Call me Mark. I'll see you tonight, 7:00. And I was like, from that day onwards, we've been friends ever since, like 30 odd years.
Oh, he's a lovely guy, and
he's great. Mark is fantastic.
Yeah, I hope to talk to him again. Well,
Very fascinating man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I really taken by the things.
Have you checked out? He's got a documentary on called I Am the White Tiger on.
That's right. Yeah. I've watched it.
Like on Apple TV or stuff like that.
Yeah, I've watched it. He sent that to me, and I watched it, which is really good. Well, I mean, I've had a few students. Well, I've had one student that went to the American film industry.
Right.
Funny enough, didn't make it as a martial arts stunt person, but actually did a little bit of acting, and did okay. Is not doing that now. Is actually a dancer now. Strangely enough.
Yeah, wait a minute. Was he on the team with us?
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah.
Mixed race guy.
Yeah.
Good looking guy.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really well built.
I remember. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah. How's he doing?
Yeah. Well, I speak to him now and again, which is good, on Facebook, usual stuff, messages. But I think he did very, very well. He was one of those guys. He was just a very talented athlete.
He fought in the clash with us that time. I think right. Clash 3 or Clash 4. Yeah.
He could turn his hand to sort of anything really. And I've got a guy currently who's training to be a stuntman. I think he's in Croatia at the moment doing some training. One of my students. So he's doing quite well, and
cool.
Really, really keen. So I always mention you when when people say, "Oh, I want to do this." "Oh yeah, I used to have a guy back in the day, Mike Lambert. He did this," and try and point them in your direction to have a look at some of the stuff that you've done. So
I mean, listen, it's a hard industry, but you've got to have a passion for it as well, Ray. As with anything, you've got to have a passion for it. But I think nowadays a lot of the younger people are getting it. For me, I'm not talking about your student. I'm just talking about in general. A lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons. Like, they'll see stuntmen and they'll Google, how much does a stuntman make? And they make good money. And they'll see these stunt guys rocking up in nice cars and wearing the Rolexes or nice tag watches and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, "Oh, I want some of that." "Well, why do you want to be a stunt performer?" Well, get girls in clubs, and it's good. I'm like, no, I earn loads of money doing it. It's like, no, I got into it, Ray. Honestly, like you said earlier, the money right nowadays, obviously, I've got my wife, 2 kids. got my house. Obviously, I've got to pay the bills. But back in the day, initially, I didn't get into it for money. When I first went to Hong Kong and started wanting to do stunts and fight scenes in these martial art movies, I did it because I had a passion for it. Passion that I just wanted to go on screen, do action, and I just loved it. The money was back then, it was irrelevant. Now, obviously, I can't do it for free. But when I first started, now a lot of people nowadays are doing it, for the wrong reason. Not everybody, but a big percentage of them are.
Well, I had a for 5 minutes back in the very early 90s. I think it was about 91. I spent a bit of time in a high trapeze, doing high trapeze.
Oh, bloody hell! Okay.
Yeah, and the woman that run that company, she was basically an acting agent, and she said to me, "Oh, would you like to sign on for my company?" Because I was sort of doing these things. I was pretty good. I was quite strong because I was training or whatever. She said,
you do that just for something different to try?
Well, it's a bit of another story because originally I went on to Gladiators.
Okay.
I did the trial for Gladiators, and there was 75 of us.
Right.
The trial, and only 2 of us got through to the end. Me and another guy.
Oh, you got through? That's amazing.
Yeah, but what happened was I didn't end up going on in the end. But what happened was I spoke to remember Hunter the Gladiator.
Yeah.
He was there, and he said, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a martial arts teacher." He said, "Oh, would you like to do something with me?" I said, "Well, what?"
Hunter the one didn't he do martial arts? Did he do martial arts, or was it called?
No, he didn't do martial arts, but he said
martial arts.
Yeah, at the time he was doing a program on Channel 4 where he did different sporting activities where he gets someone to teach him.
Right.
And he said, "Would you like to do a TV program with me?" I went, "Yeah, go on then. What is it?" So I actually did this TV program myself, Oggy and Blackie, John Black.
Right.
And where we were teaching him Tae Kwon Do, and it was hosted by Vanessa Phelps actually.
Okay.
And it was really good.
I think I remember this actually. I'm sure I've seen this. Yeah.
It was really good. So, but anyway, to cut a long story short, I was in this acting thing. This woman said, "Oh, would you like to do some?" And I said, "Well, yeah, go on then." So I signed on for this agency, and I remember my very first thing I had to do. I had to climb some really high scaffolding and sit on top of this scaffolding, and I got really well paid for it, but I had to sort of stay there for a number of takes.
Was it to deal with it? Did you have a little fear of heights?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any fear of heights at all, to be honest. But because I was quite athletic, they said, "Right, what we want you to do is to climb the scaffolding and just sit on the top." And literally, it was like it was. The thing was that the guy that was making this thing was actually he just won a young filmmaker award, and he was making a comedy. It was a comedy thing.
Okay.
And they said, "All right, it was over in Cardiff." They said, "Right, we want you to climb up on this scaffolding and just sit at the top." Of course, you know what it's like when you film this, right? We'll take a first take, and then shouting at, "Right, next take," and all that sort of stuff.
How high was it though? Was it high?
It was high. It was very high. Yeah, very high.
Did you have any safety?
No, I didn't.
That's crazy. That's a major no, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now it'd be very, very different. Like a lot of things. But I got very well paid for it. I couldn't carry on with it because at the time I had young children, and I was married and so on. And
that was classed as like a stunt job then, Ray. To be honest.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because obviously, if you're going up there with no safety at all, but you should even stunt performers, or we would probably have some safety for you, or some matting around just in case, because anybody can slip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was that. So anyway, a few of those things I sort of signed on for a while, and that was it. But and obviously my sort of life went in different directions after that. But I think it's interesting. Anybody listening to this that wants to get into the industry now. I mean, it's not it's not something you just step into. There's a lot of work, a lot of training. And obviously you need to have that sort of that personality as not giving up, which is obviously
definitely
what you had, and that strong mindset, to actually
definitely. I want. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, with anything really, you got to have that. If you've got that passion, then you're almost there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I won't say you've got to be a little bit crazy to be a stunt performer, but you've definitely got to have a different mindset, because inevitably, what's going to happen? It's like if you don't like okay, if you're vegetarian, you don't like looking at meat, you're not going to work in a butcher shop. It's that kind of thing. So ultimately, I think no matter what happens, the longer you do stunts, you are going to get injured. I'm not saying you're going to get like mortally injured or something. Obviously, that it does happen. People, unfortunately, they do get killed doing this profession, and some do get really, really badly injured. But most of the time, you are gonna get a span in your stunt career. The longer you do it, you are gonna get, no matter how good you are gonna get a span. You are gonna get pretty beat up bad. So you've got to have that back in mind, because I've seen so many people, like we did the film Justice League a few years ago, and they had to get all these girls in to play Amazons, and they got all like loads of all like fit girls, some from martial art backgrounds, some wrestlers, some weightlifters, and they got some like some of them like professional bodybuilders, and they came in, and it was great. They did like 6 weeks course, and they're doing this like boot camp, they're doing training, they're doing sword fighting, and then at the end of them, there must have been about 40 girls. End of them, I think 35 of them all went, "Oh, we want to be stunt girls. We want to be stunt performers." Like, why? I mean, I didn't say anything. I didn't put anybody off the dreams and ambitions, but why do you want to be stunt? Oh, this is great. And they thought that's what it's going to be. They're going to be able to train like 3 or 4 hours a day and then swing sword man, just do a little bit of sword fight background. And then one time, one of the girls had to get on and do a ratchet sword. She's on a wire, and they get pulled back really hard and hit the deck.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw that, they were like, "Oh, that's." It's like when we did a film Kick-Ass 2, and the stunt girl Tallulah Craig. Again, same thing. We're doing these fight scenes. All the extras are fighting in the background, and they're all laughing and giggling. Every one of them came to me. How do I become a stunt person? How do I become a stunt performer? And then the stunt went wrong one day. Tallulah Craig got jerked back. This stunt girl got jerked back. She was doubling Hit Girl in Kick-Ass 2. She got jerked back over the bar, hit her head where there wasn't no mat, corner of a wooden table. Her head just split, a flap of skin just dropped. You could see her skull. And basically, the extras that were watching, some of them were sick, physically sick, threw up. Some of them went white. And after that day, not one of them came up and went, "I want to be a stunt person." They were like, that's the reality. That's what can happen. So it's okay saying, but you've got to be honest with people, Ray. You can't go, "Oh, it's great. We just run around. We just play cops and robbers, cowboys, Indians, the background, Yeah, it is. And a lot of times they are just moving crash mats or doing a couple of little falls, judo rolls, a bit of fighting. But then sometimes you got to go, okay, see that. You got to run, you got to dive for that window on fire for 40 foot onto that box rig, and you got to hit it dead bang in the middle.
Yeah.
And people go, "What? Really?" So it's like you've got to take into account that there is a chance, because there's going to be danger involved. That's why we're stunt performers. We're there to do things that the actors don't want to do, because it's too dangerous,
Yeah, no, well, exactly, and I think that the reality of, and I think that, I mean, probably you might be able to attest to this, because as films and action goes on, they have to push the boundaries a little bit. You only got to look at people like Jackie Chan and the injuries. Obviously people know Jackie Chan and the injuries he's had. I think, right, we're going to do. Oh, and this time we'll do this. Oh, well, this time, and it goes, and the sort of
look at Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Look at Tom Cruise always trying to push the boundaries, which I actually am against that, to be honest, because one for me, it's just. Listen, it's just an ego thing. It's just Tom Cruise seriously going, "Yeah, I can do it all myself." But the thing he's got to realize is, one, he's taking work from somebody else, because a stunt double could be doing these certain things. Now, I know it's okay for him to go, "Yeah, I've hung on the side of a plane for real. Yeah, I've jumped a motorbike off a cliff and then, opened my parachute and done like a free fall." Yeah, okay, that's great. Brilliant to say you've done that. But then a stunt performer could be doing them jobs. But also, secondly, a lot of these now can be achieved with CG and VFX to make it look just as good. It's like when they did that Halo jump, the high altitude, low opening jump in one of the films. The sky was that clear and everything. They had to digitally replace the sky anyway. So technically, they could have done him on green screen. But what he doesn't realize, if he gets injured, like when he did his ankle on that film, I don't know if you remember one of the films, he jumped across his ankle on a wall. The entire film shut down for weeks and weeks and weeks, went on hiatus. But he could go, "I tell you what, guys, everybody's still going to get paid." No, nobody's getting paid for weeks and weeks while it's off, because he got injured. So me, sometimes it's okay. These actors are going, yeah, I want to do my own stunts, everything, but they can't be selfish. They've got to think about the rest of the cast and crew. What's going to happen if they do get injured? So I kind of don't agree with it. Yeah, it's great in going, but it's an ego thing. It's just Tom Cruise going, hey, look at me, I can do my own stunts. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So what is your plan for the future? What are you doing now? What are you hoping to do as you go on?
Well, to be honest, what I'm doing now, I've been doing stunts now, well, it's over 30 years now I've been doing stunts. I started in 93. So it's just over 30 years I've been doing stunts. So for like, I can't remember exactly, but maybe for 18 of them years, I was a stunt performer. So I was actually doing my stunts, so stunt double, or, you basically do like ND stunts, which is just doing everything. You might be a bad guy coming into a fight in the background, where the hero's fighting other guys. I'm one of the guys, runs in, Batman takes him out or something. But now I'm doing more. I went then into fight choreography, which is basically obviously putting fights together for movies and TV. And now I'm doing, my role now is kind of, because like you said, films have progressively advanced now, and technically everything's moved ahead. It's moving at a faster pace. So I'm an action designer now. So what we'll do, like back in the day, a fight coordinator, I just put a fight together. Like the stunt coordinator might come to me, okay, Mike, we've got Mark Ogborn and Ray Gale. They're going to be the two actors. They're going to fight in the bar. This is not actually a chance to, this is not a role I'm offering you, Ray. I'm just using it.
Oh no, I was getting excited.
EastEnders fight. So got Mark Ogborn, you've got Ray Gale. They're going to do this fight in this bar, and it's got to finish with Ray Gale beating Mark Ogborn. He's going to break his arm. Then
the usual stuff, then.
Yeah. Ray Gale beats Mark Ogborn, breaks his arm, pushing down the stairs. So you get your key points you've got to put in. So. And also he's got to, halfway through the fight, this thing's got to get broken, this table's got to get broken. So, you take this into account.
Yeah.
Back then what we'd do, we'd work out a fight sequence. And normally then you'd invite the director to come in, and you'd just do it like almost like we call it like as a master. So almost like when we do a Tae Kwon Do demo, from start to finish, you'll do the entire fight scene, watch it, we show them, then you'll do it at speed and everything. And he'll go, okay, then he'll think about maybe what angles are going to do. But it's advanced nowadays to the stage of what we'll do now. We do what's called a stunt viz. So what I normally do now, along with the stunt coordinator and the director, they'll say, okay, say for example, recently what came out recently, the Flash movie came out, and Michael Keaton come back, and there's a fight with Batman. I don't know if you've seen the Flash yet, but there's a fight where the Michael Keaton Batman takes out all these guards. So what I'll do is I'll try to work out what the journey is. Is there any like particular thing Batman's got to do? Not really. He can do what he wants, free reign. Okay, great. So I'll go, okay. So Batman swoops down, he takes one guy, lifts him, slams him down, he does this guy, he grapplooks another guy, grapplooks him as he pulls him, he's spinning hook, kicks him, clotheslines the guy, work it all out. Then I'll get together with a team. And then what I'll normally do then, once I've got the choreography down, I'll start filming it. So I've got a really nice camera. So I'll start filming it, this angle, that angle. I'll edit it. I'll even then add the VFX, the visual effects to it, and the sound. So we've almost got like a finished product called a stunt visualization. Yeah. Now, it's not saying to the director, okay, you've got to shoot it this way, but it's just my own representation of how I think the action could play out. Director, but on this occasion, it was great because the director was like, great, love it. Then we'll go to set, then basically we'll copy and paste that on set, the action. So that's what I'm doing now. It's like I'm an action designer. So it's not just choreographing a fight. I do the fight choreography. I try to work out the camera angles, and then I'll also add the VFX to my sort of poor man's version. We'll give it to the director, and if he likes it, hopefully then, like I said, they'll translate that to do that on set. So my roles, it's a bit more advanced now, but it's great because I get to, I do a lot of my own camera work now. So I shoot even on days off, like stuff. I shoot test footage. I do a lot of editing. And I'm as a hobby, I do a lot of VFX stuff as a hobby now. I've done that for about 18 years. So I do a lot of VFX stuff, like adding things. I don't know if you know what VFX is.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I do that like as a main hobby now as well, which is great because it's been invaluable in my career as well, which is good.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I've always been a big nerd anyway because I'm massively still into video games, everything. So yeah.
Well, I don't mind going to watch them. The funny thing is I haven't even got a TV here.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So going to watch something is quite special and different.
Right.
it's a different.
And have you done that? Is that on choice? You've not gone with no TV?
Yeah. Well, I like to.
It's not like bailiffs have come into.
No, I like.
You had one yesterday, but they've gone.
I like to spend my time playing a bit of guitar and doing stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good though.
And so if I go out with my, I was going to say kids, but my boys are men.
My boy, he's 24 now. My girl's 20. So yeah.
Watching stuff like that. But hey, listen, we're coming towards the end of this, but I don't want you to go away because I want to speak to you after this.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, 100%.
But I just want to say, well, first of all, ask you, if you have any advice for anybody that wants to get into this this line of work. I mean, you've mentioned a lot of stuff already, and I think if people are still going, yes, I'd still like to do it, then perhaps you can give them advice of maybe what angles they like to
Yeah, sure. Well, firstly, like I said, I hope I didn't put anybody off, because the thing is, Ray, sometimes there's a fine line where people go, oh, you're being negative or being realistic. Realism and negativity, sometimes there's a fine line.
Yes.
Like, that's why I said earlier about getting into stunts. You've got to want to do it. You've got to have a passion. And ultimately, realistically, there will be a chance that you will get injured, because it's inevitable. That stuff does happen, like I said earlier. So with that aside, and also I am trying to put people off to make them think and go, oh, do I really want to do this? Like I said, all this, running around the background, waving your swords and doing a little bit of fighting. Yes, that happens. But then there is times where you will get a spank and you will get injured. So I want to instill that in people that is the reality. It's not me being negative and trying to put people off. I'm just being realistic. So that aside, if people are still listening, going, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I still want to get into stunts. So in England, I don't know if you've got any international listeners. Hopefully you have. But the people in England, we have what's called the BSR, the British Stunt Register. So if you just Google the British Stunt Register, you'll be able to find it. And I forgot off the top of my head, but there's certain skills and requirements. So everything from martial arts, trampolining, gymnastics, horse riding, scuba diving, and they've all got certain requirements to a high level. And again, I don't know off the top of my head what it is, but I think you've got to get 6 of them. So like, say for example, I think the minimum you've got to get in martial arts, I think it might be a brown belt, or it might even be a black belt or a red belt, whatever, or the equivalent.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of thing. So like motocross, you can't just say, oh yeah, I've got a motocross bike, or you can't just say, oh yeah, I've watched a couple of documentaries about motocross. Can I use that as a skill? I think motocross, you've got to be a high level and have competed in motocross, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of them, but the only reason they've got these requirements is that then you've not got every Tom, Dick and Harry going, yeah, I want to be a stuntman. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, I don't know, the other month I was in my local Marks and Spencer's, and one of the dads of the kids I know, he was like, oh, you're still doing stunts? I'm like, oh, yeah, still managing to blag it after all these years. He's like, oh, yeah, I fancy a bit of that. He goes, can you give me a shout Monday and then pick me up and I'll come down and do it? I was like, yeah, it's not like labour on a building site where you just rock by and go, yeah, we've got this 60-foot high fall for you to do, mate. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Some people don't understand. So that's what I mean, Ray. They just think anybody can go and do it. Yeah. And again, you've got to know what you get into. So there's them 6, I think there's something like 36 skills you can pick from, but there might be more. And then you've got to be proficient in 6 of them. Yeah. But obviously pick the ones that your skill set's more suited towards. Yeah. It's like me, I started doing high diving, 10-meter high diving. Yeah. And I tried a couple of things, and I did gymnastics and trampolining, and I wasn't an expert, I'm not like, Simone Biles, like the white man equivalent of Simone Biles, but I did all right. I could do a few flips. I'm 6'1" and like 14 stone, and I got by. And the only reason why you do certain skills, Ray, is that, like trampolining, the chances are they're going to go, okay, on this, we're doing an episode of EastEnders, and we've got, hey, can you come in and, one of the Mitchell brothers is going to have a fight in trampoline? No, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But there's some of the skills at what you're going to be using in your bread and butter stunts that you're going to be doing most of the time, like to get awareness in the air. So when you're falling or something, you've got awareness to know where you are. Gymnastics to do sort of like, again, same thing, but some reactions, like you might get your legs kicked out from underneath it, or we do a lot of wire work where you get pulled up on a wire, then spun round and then dropped again. So it's just, you've got this aerial awareness then where you know you are there. So it's got to be skill specific to what you want to do. Like, I wouldn't go horse riding because, one, I like horses, but I'm not a fan of riding them. And I don't want to suddenly be, one of these hundreds of people in the background riding a horse on a movie. But if you love horses and that's what you've grown up doing, then put that down as one of your skills. So it's definitely, it's like martial arts. If you're already a black belt in Tae Kwon Do, put that down. But don't go, oh, you know what, I'm going to try fencing instead. If you've already got a black belt in Tae Kwon Do, which you've done for like 20 years, that kind of thing. Yeah. No, so think about what kind of performer you want. Sorry, Ray, I'm rambling on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No.
Think about what kind of performer you want to be. Do you want to be like, like do more high falls? Or I was more like a bread and butter stunt performer, like a general. So I'd come in and just be a generalist, do a lot of fighting. I did more like physical stuff rather than like somebody might be really, really good in a car, like a rally car driver. So go for that, because there's loads of jobs you can do where you're an ND drive in the background, just ragging a car around. So think about what you want to do first before you go for it.
No, that's great. No, that's great advice, and I hope anybody that is thinking of that will take that advice on board. Also, as well, I mean, if you've got anything, I mean, I'll chat to you in a moment, but anything that you want to put in the show notes, or any of the things that you think, wow, that was one of the highlights of my career that you like people to see, we can point them to the right place, and maybe they have
definitely 100%.
But listen, thank you very much to the Living Martial Arts podcast fan. I hope you've enjoyed this fantastic interview with Mr. Mikey Lambert. As I said when I started, the one thing I always noticed about Mikey was everybody always had a good thing to say about him. Nobody ever said anything horrible, but he was a great, really good competitor, and a lovely person. So, and I think still is the case. So well done to you, Mikey. Thank you very much for taking the time, and have a chat afterwards.
Thank you, Ray. There were kind words, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you very much for having me. Thank you.